You're trying to fix your joint pain, but you might be making it worse every day. You've tried many different things. Sometimes it feels a little better, but then the pain comes back. Sometimes even worse. The issue may not be that you're missing solutions, but you're using the same approach for two completely different types of joint pain. There's one very important thing that many people don't realize: not all joint pain is the same. According to traditional Chinese medicine, this is not just a problem in the joint itself, it's a response from within the body. And the two most common patterns are hot type joint pain and cold type joint pain. If you can't tell the difference, it's very easy to treat it the wrong way and cause the condition to last longer. And that's exactly why in this series, I'll help you clearly understand each type and share very simple ways to support your body through food, supportive drinks, and herbal applications, but only when they truly match your body's condition. Hot joint pain. This is what traditional Chinese medicine refers to as a damp heat pattern. In simple terms, your body is holding excess heat combined with stagnation around the joint. You can usually recognize this state quite clearly. Joint starts to swell, it feels warm to the touch, sometimes slightly red. There's clear tenderness when you press on it, and the more you move it, more uncomfortable it becomes. This is when the joint is inflamed and in a heated state. But there's something important that many people tend to overlook: not all hot joint pain is the same. Within this pattern, there are typically two common forms. One is a milder type that develops gradually over time. Discomfort builds slowly. You can still move the joint. There may be some swelling, but it's not severe. There's a sense of warmth, but it's relatively mild. This is often related to varicose, a mild buildup of damp heat over time. The second form is more sudden in intensity, often recognized as gout. Pain can come on quickly. Joint becomes noticeably swollen. Even a light touch can be painful, sometimes extremely sensitive. In many cases, it appears suddenly, especially at night, and often affects the big toe. This reflects a stronger inflammatory state and calls for more careful attention. I'll be sharing a separate video here. I go deeper into gout and how to recognize it more clearly. And here's a very common mistake: when the joint is swollen, warm, and painful, many people instinctively apply warming oils, use heat packs, or massage the area too aggressively. But in this state, that approach is not appropriate. It can actually make the swelling worse and increase the pain. What's important to understand is this: when the joint is hot, your body does not need more heat. It needs less stimulation and time for the inflammation to gradually settle down. Cold joint pain. This type of joint pain is very common, especially in middle-aged individuals or people who tend to feel cold easily. In traditional Chinese medicine, this pattern is often associated with cold damp accumulation or yang deficiency, which means the body lacks warmth and the joint is not being properly nourished or well circulated. You can often recognize this pattern through some very familiar sensations. The joint may not appear very swollen, but the discomfort lingers as a dull, persistent itch. When you wake up in the morning, the joint often feels stiffened. It takes a bit of movement before it starts to loosen up. When the weather is colder, damp, discomfort tends to get worse, but with warmth or gentle movement, it usually feels better. This reflects a state of insufficient warmth and nourishment. And there's something important to understand: this type of pain usually doesn't come on suddenly, it develops gradually over time. In many cases, it's associated with chronic joint conditions such as joint degeneration, bone spurs, or a general sense that the joints are gradually weakening with age. You may begin to notice the joint is not as flexible as before. It tires more easily with use, or there's a sense of dryness or stiffness deep inside. This is not a strong inflammatory state, but rather a condition where the body is not adequately nourishing the joint. And if in this state you continue using cooling foods or cold-based approaches, the symptoms may become more noticeably. The joint may feel stiffer and the discomfort may last longer. What's important to understand is this: when the joint is cold, your body does not need more cold. It needs gentle warmth and steady support to help nourish the joint over time. Quick self-check: you can start with something very simple, just by paying attention to your body. If your joint feels swollen, warm, and clearly painful when pressed, it usually leans toward a hot pattern. If your joint feels stiff, with a dull, lingering itching, tends to get worse. In cold conditions, it usually leans toward a cold pattern. Your body is always sending you signals. It's just a matter of whether you're noticing them. WH80 really matters. A common mistake is not that you're doing too little, but that what you're doing doesn't match your body's current state. When the joint is hot but you keep adding more stimulation, the inflammation may last longer. On the other hand, when the joint is cold but you continue with cooling habits, the stiffness and discomfort may linger even longer. What really matters is not doing more but doing what actually fits your body. Not all joint pain is the same, and not every method works for every situation. Your body doesn't need more things. It needs the right support at the right time. In the next videos, if your joints feel swollen, warm, and sensitive, we'll share a gentle approach for that pattern. If your joints feel stiff, cold, and worse in the mornings, next video will be more relevant for you. If you want to better understand your body and avoid common mistakes in natural health, you can subscribe to the channel, because the goal here is not to give you more tips, but to help you understand your body so you don't unintentionally make things worse. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.